If your legs feel heavier, and by evening your socks leave deeper marks around your ankles, let's talk about this gently. Many adults over 60 hear the same explanation again and again. That's just aging. But swelling is not a personality trait, and it is not something your body does without a reason. It is often your body's quiet signal that something is not moving, draining, or recovering as smoothly as it once did. Here's something surprisingly important that rarely gets explained in plain language. The structures that help keep your joints stable, skin resilient, and blood vessels flexible rely heavily on collagen. Collagen is not created from willpower, positive thinking, or motivation. Your body must build it every single day using specific nutritional building blocks. According to the NIH Office of Dietary Supplements, vitamin C plays a direct and essential role in collagen production. They provide clear intake guidelines, roughly 90 milligrams per day for adult men and 75 milligrams for adult women. That number is not a wellness trend. It reflects a biological requirement, and the connection becomes even more real when you look at deficiency. The same NIH fact sheet explains that consistently low vitamin C intake can lead to scurvy. While most viewers are not worried about scurvy, the symptoms listed are revealing joint discomfort, fatigue, and impaired wound healing. In other words, when your body lacks proper repair materials, tissues struggle. You're likely here not because you suspect a severe deficiency, but because you feel the daily wear and tear. Maybe your legs feel tight later in the day. Maybe your knees feel stiff when you stand up. Maybe your ankles look puffier by evening. These sensations often reflect how well your tissues are supported. Before we continue, one caring safety reminder. If swelling appears suddenly, especially in only one leg, or if it is accompanied by chest pain or difficulty breathing, this is not something to ignore. The Mayo Clinic advises seeking emergency care immediately for those warning signs. Today, we're walking through 6 foods that help support collagen maintenance, circulation, and tissue comfort after 60. These are not exotic powders or expensive supplements. They are mostly familiar vegetables and herbs. You can actually include them in everyday meals. We'll move from supportive to especially powerful. Please stay with me through number 1, because the smallest item on this list is often the easiest upgrade. Let's begin. Number 6, beetroot. Gentle support for circulation. Beetroot does not look like medicine, yet it behaves in ways that can be surprisingly helpful for aging legs. When circulation becomes less efficient, calves may feel tight by afternoon, and ankles may appear fuller by evening. Beetroot is not a magic fix, but it can support your body's natural pathways that help blood vessels relax. Research indexed on PubMed has examined beetroot and dietary nitrates extensively. One systematic review found that beetroot juice and inorganic nitrate intake were associated with modest reductions in systolic blood pressure, roughly 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury on average. While that number sounds small, even minor improvements in vascular relaxation can influence how comfortably blood and nutrients move through tissue. Why does this matter for legs? Because when blood vessels respond more isolate, tissues may receive oxygen and nourishment with less resistance. Many older adults describe this as legs feeling less draggy or less fatigued later in the day. The simplest way to include beetroot is consistency, not intensity. Roasted beets, sliced and drizzled with olive oil and lemon, are an easy start. Cooked beets, added to salads, work beautifully. Even grated raw beet, mixed into yogurt or a light dressing, can fit easily into meals. A common mistake is doing too much, too quickly. If you take blood pressure medication or tend to run low, avoid starting with large amounts of concentrated beet juice. Begin with modest food portions and observe how you feel. One reassuring note: beetroot can temporarily tint urine or stools pinkish. This can look alarming if unexpected, but it is usually harmless. For many seniors, the greatest benefit is indirect. When legs feel lighter, walking feels easier. When walking feels easier, fluid circulation improves. When circulation improves, swelling is less likely to accumulate. Number 5, carrots. Quiet, Support for tissue renewal. Carrots are not a direct collagen booster like vitamin C-rich foods. And honesty matters here. Instead, carrots help sustain the environment your body needs for healthy, comfortable movement and normal repair processes. Carrots are rich in provitamin A, carotenoids, particularly beta. The NIH explains that the body converts certain carotenoids into vitamin A, a nutrient involved in maintaining skin integrity, immune balance, and normal cellular function. Harvard Health Publishing lists recommended vitamin A intakes for older adults at approximately 900 micrograms per day for men and 700 micrograms per day for women. Interestingly, even a half cup of cooked carrots can supply a substantial portion of that requirement. Why include carrots in a discussion about legs and joints? Because tissue maintenance is not only about collagen fibers. It is about how well your entire repair and renewal system functions. Vitamin A supports those background processes. Carrots are also wonderfully gentle. They are easy to digest, easy to chew when cooked, and easy to incorporate into soups, stews, and side dishes. Roasting or steaming carrots and pairing them with a small amount of healthy fat, like olive oil or yogurt, helps your body utilize their nutrients more efficiently. A safety perspective is important. The NIH Office of Dietary Supplements sets an upper intake level for preformed vitamin A, mainly from supplements and animal sources. That caution does not typically apply to carrots, making food-based intake the safest strategy for most adults. For older adults with smaller appetites, carrots often serve as a dependable nutritional baseline. Number 4. Red cabbage. Protective support for sensitive tissue. Red cabbage stands out because of its deep purple color, created by compounds called anthocyanins. These plant pigments function as antioxidants, helping protect cells from everyday oxidative stress. Studies indexed on PubMed have measured red cabbage and found high concentrations of phenolic compounds and flavonoids. While numbers alone do not guarantee comfort, these compounds are associated with reduced cellular stress and improved tissue resilience. Many seniors notice that when tissues feel less irritated, movement feels smoother. Knees feel less grumpy. Legs feel less achy by evening. The effect is gradual, not dramatic. Red cabbage is best used as a repeatable habit. Thinly sliced, dressed with lemon juice or vinegar and olive oil, it becomes a crisp slaw that stores well. If chewing is difficult, allowing it to sit briefly softens the texture. Light sautéing also works beautifully. One mistake to avoid is overcooking in large amounts of water, which can dull flavor and texture. For individuals taking blood thinners such as warfarin, consistency is key. Sudden, large dietary shifts, not vegetables themselves, are what typically require clinician guidance. Now, let's move to a vegetable that many people underestimated for years. Yet, it turns out to be one of the most practical allies for collagen support after 60. Number 3. Brussels sprouts. Small size? Serious repair support. Brussels sprouts carry a reputation from decades ago when they were often overboiled, leaving behind a strong smell and bitter taste. But prepared properly, they are mild, slightly sweet, and remarkably supportive for aging. This is where the collagen conversation becomes very direct again. Your body requires vitamin C to produce collagen. Without adequate vitamin C, collagen formation becomes inefficient. That matters because collagen is what helps maintain the integrity of cartilage, ligaments, skin, and blood vessel walls. Research measuring nutrient composition of Brussels sprouts has shown that they are naturally rich in vitamin C depending on variety and freshness. Values commonly fall well above many other vegetables. In practical terms, even a modest serving can meaningfully contribute toward daily vitamin C needs. Why is this so important after 60? Because collagen turnover never stops. Even in older adulthood, your body is constantly repairing microscopic wear within joints and connective tissue. Every step, every bend, every rise from a chair places stress on structures that depend on collagen strength. When vitamin C intake is inconsistent, the repair process may feel less efficient. Joints can feel stiff. Knees may feel creaky. Ankle may feel less supported. Brussels sprouts offer a simple, food-based way to help they supply that daily building material. Preparation makes all the difference. Instead of boiling them into softness, try having them, tossing lightly with olive oil and a pinch of salt, then roasting until the edges brown slightly. This caramelization softens their flavor and improves texture. For those who prefer gentler foods, steaming briefly until tender and finishing with lemon juice works beautifully. If digestion is sensitive, portion size matters. Cruciferous vegetables can cause gas when eaten in large amounts. The solution is gradual exposure. Start with a few pieces 2 or 3 times per week. Many older adults find their tolerance improves steadily. There's also a psychological benefit that rarely gets discussed. When meals feel enjoyable rather than medicinal, habits stick. When habits stick, nutritional support becomes consistent. And consistency is where the real change happens. Many seniors describe that over weeks of including vitamin C-rich vegetables. Morning stiffness softens. That first step after sitting feels less dramatic. Again, not perfect, but noticeably easier. Number 2, spinach daily fuel for maintenance and renewal. Spinach is what I like to call a keep-it-going green. It is easy to include, easy to cook, and flexible. It can appear in meals without requiring major dietary changes. From a collagen support perspective, spinach contributes vitamin C, along with a spectrum of other nutrients involved in tissue maintenance, including folate, magnesium, and various studies examining spinach composition have reported that vitamin C levels can vary depending on growing conditions and freshness. But even with natural variation, spinach remains a meaningful contributor when eaten regularly. And that word, regularly, is everything. Collagen maintenance behaves less like a treatment and more like hygiene, similar to brushing your teeth or staying hydrated. Small daily inputs outperform occasional large efforts. Spinach fits beautifully into this rhythm. It can be stirred into soups at the end of cooking, where it softens gently without becoming dull. It can be folded into scrambled eggs or omelets. It can be sautéed quickly with garlic and olive oil. For those with chewing difficulties, chopping finely or cooking slightly longer creates a softer texture. Why does spinach matter for legs specifically? Because tissue comfort influences movement, and movement influences circulation. When joints feel less irritated, standing feels easier. When standing feels easier, walking increases. When walking increases, calf muscles pump fluid upward more effectively. When fluid movement improves, swelling often feels less pronounced by evening. Everything connects. Spinach also supports vascular and muscular function through its mineral content. Magnesium, for instance, plays roles in muscle relaxation and nerve function factors. Many seniors associate with reduced cramping or tightness. A gentle safety note is appropriate. Spinach is rich in vitamin K for individuals taking anticoagulants like warfarin. Stability is the key principle. Maintaining a consistent intake allows clinicians to manage medications safely. For those with a history of kidney stones, discussing portion size with a healthcare professional may be wise due to spinach's oxalate content. For most older adults, however, spinach represents one of the easiest nutritional upgrades available. And now we arrive at the smallest, yet most concentrated item on this list. Number 1, parsley that garnish your body wishes you treated like food. Parsley is often brushed aside as decoration. Yet, nutritionally, it behaves more like a dense, leafy green than a simple herb. Most people sprinkle parsley lightly, using only a few leaves. But when parsley is treated as an ingredient rather than an afterthought, its impact can be surprisingly meaningful. Parsley contains a concentrated supply of vitamin C, along with plant compounds that support cellular protection. Because of its density, even modest amounts can contribute noticeably toward daily vitamin C intake. This makes parsley uniquely practical. You don't need large bowls or heavy meals. A handful of chopped parsley folded into dishes can quietly enhance nutritional value. Think of parsley as a nutrient amplifier. It integrates effortlessly into many dishes. Chopped into salads, blended into sauces, stirred into soups, or mixed into a simple green drizzle. For older adults with reduced appetites, this concentration becomes especially valuable. When you eat less volume, nutrient density matters more. There is also something beautifully empowering about parsley. Improvement doesn't always require dramatic change. Sometimes the smallest shift, treating a garnish as food, becomes the easiest habit to sustain over time. Consistent vitamin C intake supports collagen maintenance. Collagen maintenance supports tissue resilience. Tissue resilience supports movement. Movement supports circulation. Circulation supports lighter feeling legs. A gentle reminder for safety. Parsley, like other leafy greens, contains vitamin K. Individuals on blood thinners should prioritize consistency and communicate any significant dietary changes with their clinician. Now pause for a moment and look at what you've built so far. You've added support for circulation. You've strengthened the foundation for tissue renewal. You've included protective antioxidant-rich foods. You've supported collagen production directly. You've created daily maintenance habits. You've upgraded the smallest item into a powerful ally. And this is where the story truly shifts. Because knowing the foods is helpful, but turning them into a weekly rhythm is what actually changes how your legs and joints feel. We're about to connect everything into a simple, realistic routine you can follow without stress, strict rules, or perfection. Because understanding which foods help is only the beginning. The real improvement comes when those foods stop being information and start becoming habits your body can rely on. Let's bring everything together in a way that feels calm, doable, and sustainable. After 60, your body responds far better to consistency than intensity. Large, sudden overhauls often fail, not because they are ineffective, but because they are exhausting. The nervous system resists stress, and dramatic diet changes can feel like stress. Instead, think in terms of a weekly rhythm, not a strict meal plan. Not perfection, just repetition, gentle enough that you'll actually maintain it. Imagine your week like this. A few meals that include leafy greens. A few meals that include colorful vegetables. Small additions that quietly build nutritional support over time. For example, spinach folded into eggs or soup several times per week. Brussels sprouts roasted once or twice weekly. Carrots appearing in soups, stews, or side dishes. Red cabbage kept as a ratatouille slaw. Parsley added almost daily as a finishing herb. Beetroot included a couple of times weekly. Nothing extreme, nothing rigid, nothing overwhelming. Now, let's talk about why this steady pattern matters so much. Your joints, skin, blood vessels, and connective tissues are not repaired in a single event. They are maintained through continuous microscopic rebuilding. Collagen fibers are constantly being renewed, reinforced, and reorganized. When your body receives irregular building materials, repair becomes irregular. When support arrives steadily, repair becomes steadier. This is why many seniors describe improvements not as dramatic transformations, but as subtle shifts. My knees don't feel as stiff in the morning. My legs feel less heavy by evening. I'm more comfortable walking longer. My ankles don't look as puffy at night. These changes often unfold gradually over weeks, sometimes months, and that timeline is not failure. It is biology. Aged tissues do not rebound overnight, but they absolutely respond to consistent nourishment. Let's also include a reality check that protects you from unrealistic expectations. Food is support, not a cure. If swelling is driven by heart, kidney, lymphatic, or vascular conditions, nutrition alone cannot replace medical care. However, supportive eating patterns can still improve comfort, circulation, efficiency, and tissue resilience alongside appropriate treatment. That distinction is important. Now, beyond nutrition, there are two simple behaviors that amplify everything we discussed. First, hydration. Dehydration, paradoxically, encourages fluid retention. When the body senses inadequate water intake, it becomes more protective, holding on to fluid. Many older adults unintentionally drink less because thirst signals become weaker with age. A gentle guideline. Sip regularly throughout the day rather than relying on thirst alone. Second, movement. You don't need intense workouts. Your calf muscles act as a secondary pump, helping move fluid back upward toward the heart. Long periods of sitting allow fluid to pool in the lower legs. Small actions help enormously. Standing up every hour, short walks, gentle ankle circles, light stretching. These movements encourage circulation and lymphatic flow. When paired with supportive foods, the effect becomes cumulative. Nutrition feeds repair. Movement improves delivery. Hydration supports fluid balance. Together, they create an internal environment that favors comfort. Now let's address something emotional that many seniors quietly experience. Loss of confidence in the body. Heavy legs, stiff knees, and swelling do more than create physical discomfort. They create hesitation. Hesitation reduces movement. Reduced movement worsens stiffness and fluid retention. It becomes a loop, but small improvements can reverse that loop. When standing feels easier, you move more. When moving more, circulation improves. When circulation improves, legs feel lighter. When legs feel lighter, confidence grows. This is why seemingly minor habits like adding parsley, choosing spinach, roasting vegetables can ripple outward. Not because they are magical, but because they are repeatable. And repeatable actions change. Let's keep this deeply practical. You do not need expensive supplements, complicated detox plans, perfect diets, elaborate recipes. You need foods you'll actually eat. Meals that feel enjoyable. Habits that feel natural rather than forced. Even choosing one starting point creates momentum. Maybe spinach feels easiest. Maybe carrots suit your digestion. Maybe parsley is the simplest upgrade. Maybe beetroot sounds interesting. Start there, then layer gradually, because sustainable health rarely comes from heroic effort. It comes from steady pattern. And now I'd like to pause here with a genuine question for you. Not a rhetorical one, a real one. Which of these foods feels like the easiest place for you to begin this week? The one that fits your kitchen, your taste, your budget, your energy. Picture your next grocery trip. Picture one small addition. That's how change begins. If you'd like, I can also help you build a simple grocery list. Easy meal combinations, soft food versions for sensitive chewing, low effort preparation ideas. Let's finish this in the simplest, most honest way. After 60, your body is not asking for extreme measures. It is asking for steady support. Support for circulation, support for tissue repair, support for collagen maintenance, support for fluid balance. And those supports are built through ordinary, repeatable choices. Not perfection, not restriction, not complicated routines, just consistency. A handful of spinach, some roasted Brussels sprouts, carrots in soup, red cabbage on the side, parsley treated like food, beetroot a few times a week. These are not dramatic interventions. They are quiet investments. And quiet investments, repeated over weeks and months, are what aging tissues respond to best. Because comfort in your legs, ease in your knees, lightness in your step rarely comes from one big change. It comes from many small ones your body can rely on. Remember this: you are not trying to reverse aging. You are trying to support your body's repair systems so movement feels easier, swelling feels less stubborn, and daily life feels more comfortable. Progress may feel subtle at first, but subtle improvements are still improvements. Standing with less hesitation, walking with more confidence, feeling less heaviness by evening, trusting your body a little more. That is real progress. So here's the only question that truly matters now. What is your first step? Not all 6 foods. Not a perfect week. Just your starting point. One choice you'll actually keep. Because the best plan is never the most impressive one. It's the one you follow. If you'd like, I can help you next with a simple grocery list. Easy meal ideas. Soft food versions. A weekly routine. Just tell me what you need. And most importantly, be patient with your body. Be kind to your pace. Be consistent with your habits. That's where lasting comfort lives.